reconvene the council meeting, and we are on to business item A, adoption of an ordinance ratifying the collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters Local 589 representing the police support staff employees. And Noah, I believe this is your item.
Yep. Thank you, Council. Tonight, 7A is an ordinance ratifying the collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters Local 589, representing the police support employees. The city's negotiating team consists of City Attorney Sharon Cates, Mayor Rob Putansu, Finance Director Noah Crocker, Police Chief Jeff Martai, HR Director Deborah Howard. And we've reached a tentative agreement with the Teamsters 589, representing the police support staff. The agreement has been ratified by the police support staff bargaining unit. The agreement is not a public document until approved by City Council and signed by parties, and therefore is not attached to the staff report. The recommendation is that the city's negotiating team recommends that the City Council ratify the collective bargaining agreement and authorize the mayor to execute it.
Councilman Clausen.
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt an ordinance ratifying the terms of the collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters Local 589, representing the police support staff employees bargaining unit, and authorize the mayor to execute the same.
Second.
Thank you. Is there a discussion on this item? Don't all talk at once. Okay. It has been moved and seconded that we adopt an ordinance ratifying the terms of the collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters Local 589, representing the police support staff employees bargaining unit, and authorize the mayor to execute the same. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. That has passed. And now we will go on to business item B, adoption of an ordinance to waive utility late fees and penalties and to make alternative utility payment arrangements. And again, no, I believe this is your item.
Yep, thank you. So we've talked about this prior study session meeting. This is an ordinance to waive utility late fees and penalties and make alternative utility payment arrangements. What we found is from time to time, customers have requested some flexibility regarding the payment of utility late fees and penalties. Customers have presented some circumstances which might warrant consideration for flexibility for the finance department to address payment issues for customers. Now, currently, there is no authority for the finance director to waive the late fees and penalties for customers of any circumstance other than if it's the mistake of the city. Again, from time to time, circumstances arise in which utility customers may be late on a payment. The finance department has received requests to waive the utility late fees due to these unforeseen circumstances. The proposed policy identifies limited circumstances in which a customer could qualify for a waiver of a late fee and penalty or make alternative payment arrangements. At the January 25th, 2019 City Council study session, we discussed and provided the council with information regarding the ordinance and policy overview and asked for direction. Council deliberated and provided comments and requested the policy be brought forward tonight. The recommendation is that the Finance Department recommends adoption of the ordinance, the proposed ordinance, which adds 2 new sections to the Port Orchard Municipal Code to delegate authority to the Finance Director to waive utility late fees, penalties, and/or disconnection charges, and to make alternative utility payment arrangements under the listed criteria in the PMOC.
Councilman Lucarelli.
I move to adopt an ordinance delegating authority to the Finance Director to waive utility late fees, penalties, and/or disconnection charges, and to make alternative utility payment arrangements in accordance with the listed criteria as presented.
Second.
Thank you. For our audience, because the motion is not does not spell out those criteria, I will read the criteria. The finance director or his or her designee at his or her discretion shall have the authority to waive utility late fees, penalties, and/or disconnection charges and to make alternative utility payment arrangements under the following conditions. one, where the utility account has been active for a minimum of 12 months, and two, where a utility account has not been delinquent in the previous 12 months, or three, where the utility account has met the requirements of both 1 and 2 above, and the utility customer has made arrangements with the city prior to the date the billing is due for deferral of payments of the bill or other payment arrangements. So, that's in a nutshell what the ordinance says. Do we have discussion? We do have a motion and a second.
I have just a
Councilman
quick
Diener?
question. So I understand that this is or the intent of this is to be retroactive? Or is that not the intent? It's not addressed anywhere in here that I could see.
It will depend on the circumstances. So Part C of that would allow some flexibility if a customer contacted us in advance, that we could make arrangements to defer the late payment, the late fees from incurring. Parts A and B are kind of after the fact. We've set on the file notices, late fees have incurred, and now the customer realizes it and comes in and applies for the program to be deferred. So it depends on the situation and circumstance. On one, it could be retroactively applied after the fact, after we've kind of validated that they do qualify for the program as this one time every 12 months, and then we would apply those fees credited to their account. The other scenario is that they contact us in advance and kind of work with the city on payment arrangements so that they can continue to be in good standing.
I heard the question a little different, and maybe it was just the way I heard it, but we had, it's been a couple months ago
Yeah.
now, a citizen come before us, and that's what brought this to our attention again. Will this allow that citizen any relief? Or is this just future? Was that kind of what you
Yes,
were getting
My
at?
understanding is that that person kind of prompted this, and so I guess I didn't hear at work study whether there was a direct tie into what we were doing and relief to that person, but I guess essentially that's the heart of the matter.
I
don't
would
see
ag-
any restrictions why they wouldn't be able to in this ordinance. I mean, it gives the finance director the authority
So-
whenever.
Yeah, that was the flip side of my question, is by not addressing it, by its silence on that, it's wide open.
Yeah, I agree with
So-
Councilmember Clausen that I think the language is crafted to give me the flexibility to determine that, and in that particular circumstance, I would say, yes, they can come forward and apply for the program, and we would validate that it meets the intent of the legislation here, and that they would qualify.
Councilman Rose Pepe?
I would say that in absence of this being passed, that they had brought that within the time frame by bringing it to the Utilities Committee and on that. So I think they would have met the time frame regardless whether we had passed this or not. So I would be fully in supportive of having NOAA take a look and seeing if they qualified for the relief.
I think what he's saying is because we don't discuss retroactivity, that it would apply in his judgment.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I would concur.
Any further discussion? Then we will be voting on a motion to adopt an ordinance delegating authority to the finance director to waive utility late fees, penalties, and/or disconnection charges, and to make alternative utility payment arrangements in accordance with the listed criteria as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Motion passes. We are moving right along, and we are to C, adoption of a resolution approving the revised salary for the recruitment of the new police chief. I would bring to everyone's attention, there was a new red-lined revised version of the resolution presented this evening. In that revised resolution, it will also revise the wording for the motion that would be made. And with that, I gave my top copy to Deb. Okay, and you are the,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
This is Deb Howard's item, so.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember. The mayor informed the city council at the January 15th, 2019 work-study meeting that the city has begun a recruitment process for a new police chief with the retirement of the current police chief in 2019. The mayor also informed the council that the top step of the salary should be increased in the recruitment of a new police chief. The mayor and myself, the HR coordinator, met with a recruitment consultant with the Washington State Association of Sheriffs and City Chiefs on May 10th, 2019, who recommended, in order to recruit a larger pool of qualified candidates for the police chief, the top step of the salary should be $155,000 annually. It is to the benefit of the city to maintain a standard of excellence in the leadership of our police department, and the council agreed to move forward with this increase. After the recruitment process is completed, a revised salary schedule will be brought forward in the form of an ordinance. Recommendation: staff recommends that the city council adopt the resolution approving the revised salary of $150,000 for the recruitment of a new police chief.
Councilman Chang?
I move to adopt a resolution approving the revised top salary increase to $155,000 for the recruitment of a new police chief. Thereon is presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any further discussion? Councilman Clausen?
Just a comment in your staff summary. I don't think you met with the Sheriffs and Police Chiefs Association on May 10th, 2019. That's yet to happen.
No, it wasn't May 10th.
Okay.
I think,
Someone may be retiring that day, so it may be on
that's
our
what's on
mind.
my mind. Oh my God. What was I thinking that day? No, I think it was supposed to be January 10th. Sorry about that. Boy, that's a real. Okay, yes, that should be corrected. Scribner's error. Brandy, fix that?
We
Okay.
do occasionally pay attention to what you say.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
But so sincere when she said it.
Also, as a Scribner's error, the third whereas indicates a revised increased salary of $155,000. That again needs to note that it's the top step of the salary.
I think it's clarified when the now therefore, but I understand what you're saying. The now therefore is what we're making a statement, and it says the top salary increase too.
Okay. Is there any discussion on this item, now that we've got the Scribner's errors corrected? Okay, seeing none, we will be voting on a motion to adopt a resolution approving the revised top salary increase to $155,000 for the recruitment of the new police chief. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. That, we will move on now to item D, which again is Deb Howard. This is an adoption of a resolution approving an interlocal agreement with the Port of Bremerton for human resource services.
The Port of Bremerton contacted the city in need of temporary services in order to serve their present human resource needs. The port was contracting out for human resource services which cannot be fulfilled at this time. RCW Chapter 39.34 authorizes municipal corporations, including public districts, to enter into cooperative agreements and contracts with one another for the provision of services. An interlocal agreement between both the city and the port would provide temporary services to the port in the development, coordination, implementation of effective human resource services on a 10 to 12 hour a month basis by the city's HR coordinator. For consideration of these services, the port shall pay the city $800 per month. Special projects or additional time required will be charged at $80 per hour. The term of this agreement shall commence on approval and continue through April 30th, 2019. And I will mention that Sherman, who is in our audience tonight, and he is the finance director of the Port of Bremerton. Staff recommends council adoption of this resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement between the Port of Bremerton and the city of Port Orchard for temporary human resource services.
Councilman Diener?
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement between the Port of Bremerton and the city of Port Orchard for temporary human resource services.
Second.
Thank you. Is there discussion? Councilman Clausen?
I just want to commend both the port and the city for moving forward with this. I think it's great when you can get a couple government agencies to work together that will ultimately benefit all involved. So congratulations. Thank you.
The one question I had, which is, which I discussed with Ms. Howard today, was did she have the capacity? And she said she did to the 10 to 12 hours a month. And that was when she also noted that the agreement would terminate April 30th because she's intending to retire May 10th. So that's where that May 10th date came in on the other, is she has it on the mind, so.
I know you'll miss me.
I just have a curiosity question, and is why the 10 through 12 hours and then everything else? You know, I understand the everything else at $80 an hour, but 10 to 12 hours sounds, it just kind of, why not one or the other for the
Well, I know
monthly
that
sum?
I've been informed that the prior contract, that's what they were contracting with the other individual, was that amount of time. And then I think if there is special projects, maybe Sherman, you can address that, like if it goes beyond, I'm not sure. Or something has to do with a little bit more
Well,
than,
Yeah, I understood
that's-
that part. It was just the 10 to 12, and usually it's like 10 hours a month or 12 hours a month, not kind of a range. It's minor in nature. I was just
Yeah.
curious.
Is there any other further discussion?
no.
So we will be voting on a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement between the Port of Bremerton and the city of Port Orchard for temporary human resource services. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And that passes. So we are now down to E, which is an adoption of a resolution approving a contract for our Rockwell Pocket Park. Mark Dorsey, that's yours.
Thank you, Your Honor, council members. On December 14th, 2018, and December 21st, 2018, the city's Public Works Department advertised in the Port Orchard Independent, the city's webpage, and the Daily Journal of Commerce, and uploaded the bid documents to the Washington Builders Exchange. By the January 11th, 2019 bid due date at 1 p.m., the city received and opened 7 sealed bids for the Rockwell Pocket Park Improvement Project. In general summary, the sealed bids received with applicable sales tax included range from an apparent low of $402,437.42 to the apparent high of $514,480, with the engineer's estimate at $428,613.07. How's that for an engineer's estimate? Following the completion of the bid tabulation and the mandatory bidder responsibility checklist, it was determined that Neptune Marine LLC provided the lowest responsive and qualified bid proposal at $412,848.67 for the Rockwell Pocket Park Improvement Project. We found the $10,000 error doing the bid tab summary. but they were still the lowest bidder. So that's why there's that $10,000 difference. And that's why we do a bid tab summary to make sure that their math is correct. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt a resolution thereby approving contract number C008-19 with Neptune Marine LLC in an amount not to exceed $412,848.67, applicable taxes included, for the Rockwell Pocket Park Improvement Project. And as a reminder, state grant funding was provided for this through the Department of Commerce, Capital Construction Fund 302. And we do have in this particular schedule of values a bid item that is our minor change, which we have, but we actually have a $28,000 minor change item in there. So that's only used, that's for changes in condition. It's not a guaranteed value. They have to prove. It's not like things, hey, we want the minor change. It has to be validated minor change. But that is, we're kind of dealing through our budget authority issues at the city where we're trying to make sure we don't go carte blanche, but we provide flexibility for construction. So that's why we went with, for this size of a contract, we went with that a little bit higher value. I mean, percentage-wise, it's not much different than Tremont, but for a simple project, it's a fairly substantial minor change line item.
Councilman Lucarelli?
I move to adopt a resolution thereby approving contract number C008-19 with Neptune Marine LLC in an amount not to exceed $412,848.67, applicable taxes included, for the Rockwell Pocket Park Improvement Project.
Second it.
Is there discussion? Seeing no discussion, we will be voting to adopt a resolution thereby approving contract number C008-19 with Neptune Marine LLC in an amount not to exceed $412,848.67, applicable taxes included, for the Rockwell Pocket Park Improvement Project.
Easy for you to say.
It was easy for me to say. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign, and that motion carries. Okay, we are on to the approval of the January 8th meeting minutes, and I believe Councilman Clausen will be abstaining.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Is there any
Opposed?
opposed? That's the word I was looking for. And there is one abstention. Thank you. So now we are on to reports of council committees. Councilman Clausen, do we have anything for finance?
Not as yet. We still have to schedule a meeting, so
Yeah, we could talk about maybe February 12th or February 19th, if that works for you guys.
Yeah, I can do either one.
Okay.
I don't believe the mayor will be available on February 12th.
Okay.
I would not be able to do either the 12th or the 19th, and the mayor wouldn't be able to do. Well, we could do it if we did it before the council meeting, neither of
Yeah.
those nights.
Yeah, that's what I propose.
Then I'm available for.
Then I think the 19th, the mayor, I believe, is at an AWC meeting on the 12th.
On the 12th, okay. So I'll check with him and also Councilmember Kachardi, see if that works for them on the 19th before the
19th.
council study session. Okay.
Next committee would be the Economic Development and Tourism meeting. We will be meeting February 11th, 9:30 here in council chambers. But I do want to just bring council up to date on the status of the single-use plastic bag ordinance. We did receive copies of the House bill, it's, and I don't have the number in front of me. The House bill and the Senate bills both dropped. House bill had a hearing yesterday. I believe the Senate bill has a hearing on Thursday. What's different in what I read in the bills from what we had been discussing, both the House and the Senate version are calling for a mandatory 10-cent per bag fee. And the Senate version would allow the municipalities to increase that if they chose to. The House version didn't have that. However, both versions did, I will just read it. Except for as provided in subsection 2 of this section, a city, town, county, or municipal corporation may not implement a local carryout bag ordinance. Any carryout bag ordinance that is in effect on the effective date of this section is preempted by this chapter as of the effective date of this. So our decision to table this until the state takes action was the appropriate thing to do. But we will, at Economic Development, look at the difference in here and what the county had proposed, just to make sure we're comfortable with it.
I'm
So,
sorry, Beck, what was the amount that they were gonna add on?
a dime. A dime.
It's gonna go to the state.
That will go to the retailer.
Oh,
But the retailers don't have an option of whether to do it or not. Our committee had talked about the jurisdictions that currently have plastic bag bans typically charge a nickel. And we had discussed, some of them, that's optional, and we had discussed making it optional. Because we have retailers in the city of Port Orchard right now who do not charge for paper bags. And so I didn't feel it was appropriate for us to do their business model for them. I didn't care if they charged a nickel or didn't charge a nickel, or I didn't care if they charged $1. I just felt it should be up to the retailer. However, the bills that are before the House and the Senate right now are requiring a 10-cent per bag fee that the retailer will retain.
And no
well, at least
vesting.
the retailer's gonna get something out of this. That's a good deal.
And no vesting is
Yeah, and it sounds like they'd preempt anything we were to approve anyways.
correct. So we just need to sit back and wait and see what the outcome in Olympia is.
I guess my point is it's better that the retailer is gonna get the 10 cents as opposed to the state.
Oh, yeah, just the, and I won't go into those details, but they do have to account for it. So, anyway, that's where that is, and that's something our committee's been working on. So we will go to utilities.
Yes, we don't have a meeting scheduled for this month, but we will be having one February 27th at 9:30 a.m. here at City Hall.
Okay, and sewer advisory?
Yes, we just met January 16th. It was a very short meeting. Basically, we heard that the audit was approved and that we got a very short update on some of the capital improvements. All going very well and on schedule. The
Len?
next meeting for that, I'm sorry, is April 17th, and that will be at the sewer plant, the South Kitsap Water Reclamation Facility, and that is at 6:30 p.m.
Cindy, you said April 17th?
April 17th, right.
Thank you.
At the sewer plant, 6:30.
Land use?
Nothing new to report. We next meet on January 28 at 9:30 at DCD.
Okay. And lodging tax?
Nothing right now.
Okay. Festival of Chimes and Lights?
Yes, we met January 14th, and I'm happy to say that the committee has agreed, of course, I've told you this a bit, that we are going to do the trees again in the planters for the next festival. We have agreed that we're going to keep them up an additional week. People really enjoyed them, and the trees were in good shape, so we're encouraged to do that. We will open up payments for the trees September 9th. This will all be on the website, but anyone who has had a tree this year may reserve their planter. It won't be confirmed until after payment, but we're allowing that kind of thing to happen. We've had many people already say that they would like to have reserved the planter again. We just discussed some details of the event, and we're on budget and had a very successful Chimes and Lights. The next meeting, I'm sorry, again, is February 27th, 3:30 here at City Hall.
Okay. We have outside agency committees. I don't believe we've had, I know KRCC has not met. I don't know if there's any other agencies that anyone attends. The mayor's not here, and he's typically the one who attends all those.
We had one for Kitsap
Is
Transit.
it today? Okay.
John, if I miss anything, please feel free. But there was two really good discussions. One was about the reservation system, an update and how that was going, and what the next steps might be in improving the system. And the second one was, besides the update on routing, was also talking about how the Kingston Ferry service was going. And that was exceeding, actually, the ridership projections right now. It's kind of a reduced, not a reduced service, but a reduced load because of how they're crewing it. But there is room for expansion on that, and it's, again, the service is looking very positive.
Excellent. Are there any other outside agencies? No? Okay. We would go on to the mayor's report. The mayor has no report this evening. And we will then go to our department heads.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know that the mayor had challenged me with a New Year's resolution to be brief. And then he also reminded, I believe he reminded everybody that I don't get a vote, so I accept that. So I will be brief, but I do have some updates. First off, so we approved the Rockwell Pocket Park tonight. We're meeting with the Department of Transportation this Friday, or at least Mike is, because I'm over at PSRC. We're doing a project management review for that segment 3, because our CACM construction administrators finished as far as they want to go. So we're going to finish that project. So that you feel more comfortable with what we're doing, we will be suspending the segment 3 work, because those walls that are built immediately next to the pathway, we're kind of lucky that we have the same contractor, so that we're not going to pave, we're going to pave everything at the same time. So we will be suspending critical path days. We're still going to go and do the railings and things, but the critical path work and the final paving and striping we're going to do after all when the park is basically done, and then we pave everything at the same time. So I want to rest assured that we're thinking of things like that. We don't want to pave something and then have a bunch of construction equipment tear it up. McCormick Park, we had that issue with the one swingy play toy, and that part has been reordered. We have to chop and remove it where it's at and slide it over. But we've got that taken care of, and as soon as that piece is in, we're also going to be putting up construction fencing and then getting the perimeter trail cleaned up. We'll be able to open the park. We've also ordered the mag locks, which is that automatic system that at a certain time at 4:30 or whatever, the restrooms will close automatically. You can get out, but you then can't get in. Or we'll set times like daylight, because we've had people living in the bathrooms. It's been problematic. So as soon as we get that one kind of liability taken care of, we're going to officially open the park back up again. And I know there was some concern that we had the ribbon cutting and then we closed the park, but we really need some more time for that grass that soil to dry out a little bit, and then get that one toy fixed. So that was really the delay. Well 9, we're in startup. So we're running pumps and filters and getting that rolling. And then on Tremont, I think most people noticed that we moved into phase 3 or 4. I can't remember if it was phase 3 or 4, but you are now driving through the Pottery roundabout. It's functioning. You just can't drive between the two roundabouts. And that will stay that way really through the course of the project, because that area will become staging for plants and things, trees and shrubs. So, contractor still needs a working area. So I think how it's set up now, where you still go up South Kitsap Boulevard, but you don't go rolling in May anymore, that will be the way it is till the end. I think we're looking for the next weather break to, in a couple of weeks, we're gonna get that final base paving on the south lane, the eastbound lane of Tremont from Port Orchard Boulevard, or Pottery to Port Orchard Boulevard, get that base paving. At that point, then we move into just landscaping and finishing up lighting. And then we have that drainage down at Highway 16 to put in as soon as we get weather, and then it's final paving and we're done. So,
When you get the paving on the eastbound side will you open up that side then and we'll have two-way traffic? So
I believe that they'll have two-way traffic and the roundabout will be functioning just like we do down at South Kitsap. So, yes.
great.
Yep. And that's it. And it was only 2 minutes.
We'll share that with the mayor.
Nothing for me tonight. Thank you.
Nothing for me tonight either, thank you.
Just an update on, we've gotten quite a few applications in for the office assistant 2 position, and that closes Friday, so we have a good candidate base, or, for going into that position. We'll be advertising for 2 public works positions. I'm going to work on that tomorrow, so those will be advertised. And then we're going to have another police oral board, because we have an officer that has given his letter in for retirement. Officer David Walker will be retiring. And then I know they're still doing background investigation checks on, to fill one police officer position, and we're still looking into background check on the court security officer. So I believe that's where we are in the recruitment and hiring process, so.
Thank you. Randy?
I just have something, I was impressed with, I don't know if a lot of you have doctors associated with CHI off of South Kitsap Boulevard. So, yeah. So I had some doctor's appointments that I had to go to, and when you call and schedule an appointment and you're on hold, they say prepare for the Tremont construction. But then also a day before my appointment, they would send me a text message reminding me of my appointment and also reminding me that there's construction on Tremont, so prepare ahead. So not only are they getting it out through the phone, but they're also sending text messages to people that are in that area. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so that doesn't happen magically. The city and the contractor have worked with CHI, the kidney dialysis, Kaiser Permanente, Tremont Medical. And so what the CACM team does is, with every traffic change, we provide them with a narrative and a map that they can send out to people. So we've been doing that from the beginning, because we've had that, we knew that we had so many kind of urgent care issues that we would get ahead of it. So that's good to hear that. That's Rachel Wold is the one that coordinates with Janine. It's her job to go out to these agencies and help them make sure that their appointment staff and people that answer the phones know exactly what's happening. So it's, in fact, I got a compliment today from CHA Franciscan Wade Moberg, who's their kind of real estate financial person, that he's just like, this has gone, I know a lot of people are upset with it, but in general, I mean, if you look at a project that size, with the amount of traffic delays, they're minimal businesses. I mean, there have been smaller projects, like there was one in Gig Harbor that I think 3 local businesses didn't survive the year-long project. So I think that the contractor and the construction administration team from a traffic management standpoint has done really exceptionally well for a project of this magnitude. So that's good feedback, and I'll pass that on at our meeting tomorrow. I'll pass that on.
Good job, and add 1 more minute to his time.
Yeah, but it's good to know that you had a good experience and that everything worked the way it was supposed to. We are to our, if I'm reading this correctly, we are to our final citizens' comment. So if there's anyone in the audience who would like to address the council, now would be the time. Jerry?
Excuse me. One of the things, and I know I've stated it before, but if any of you have any clout with the state, I find it, I have to find a nice word, upsetting that things get started in government and then there's no really reevaluation as to why it really got started. And to me, the pain of businesses for SACs, when businesses have been providing SACs out of their own, they've built it into their part of their side of costs. And we're paying for it, but we don't know we're paying it by the upping of the price of everything in the store. And to come out with the state saying that businesses need to be paid 10 cents per bag, it's, in my opinion, ridiculous. If they can provide them now and are not charging us above, what they've built into there, why are we putting it in other than it was an incentive for businesses not to fight them on getting rid of plastic bags when this all started? And it's just another case of something that got started and now it's continuing on and on and on when it shouldn't, or in my opinion, it shouldn't be there. And and I'm thinking of Target and Fred Meyer, and large corporations are making the most profit they have ever made in their life, to the point where they're hiding their profits overseas. And it is ridiculous that you're sticking it to the consumer even more by saying that this is okay to add this money onto the cost of what you're already spending at a business. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to address the council this evening? Well, with that, we will be adjourned.